My friends traumatized a burglar, but it was so funny we got away with it. Last month, my 3 roommates and I were having our weekly horror movie marathon. We're all theater majors, so we go pretty hard with the costumes and makeup. Jensen was doing his vampire look with fake blood dripping down his chin. Penelope had this creepy doll face painted on. Walker was wearing his zombie prosthetics from last Halloween, and I was testing out this new ghost makeup tutorial with hollow black eyes and pale skin. We were completely absorbed in watching The Conjuring when we heard glass breaking downstairs. At first, we thought it was just part of the movie's surround sound, but then we heard footsteps creaking on our kitchen floor. Real footsteps. Someone was definitely in our house. Jensen grabbed his phone to call 911, but we had zero signal. The storm outside had knocked out our cell tower. Penelope whispered that we should hide in the closet, but Walker pointed out that our bedroom doors didn't have locks. We were basically trapped upstairs with nowhere to go. That's when we heard the intruder start climbing our stairs. Heavy boots, one step at a time, getting closer. We all looked at each other in our horror movie get-ups and suddenly had the same crazy idea. If we couldn't escape, maybe we could scare him away instead. We quickly arranged ourselves around the top of the staircase. When the burglar rounded the corner with his flashlight, he came face to face with 4 terrifying creatures straight out of a nightmare. Jensen let out this bone-chilling vampire hiss. Penelope giggled like a possessed doll. Walker groaned like the undead, and I just stood there perfectly still, staring at him with my hollow black eyes. The guy's flashlight beam was shaking as he swept it across our faces. He took one step backward, then another, but we weren't done. Jensen started speaking in this creepy Victorian accent about being hungry for blood. Penelope began reciting nursery rhymes in a sing-song voice. Walker lurched forward with his arms outstretched, making zombie noises. The burglar dropped his flashlight and ran. We heard him trip down half the stairs, crash into our coffee table, and scramble toward the front door. But here's where it gets really good. In his panic, he couldn't figure out how to unlock our deadbolt. He was frantically rattling the door handle while we slowly descended the stairs in character. Jensen kept up his vampire act, talking about eternal hunger. Penelope was now sitting cross-legged on the floor, playing with an imaginary tea set, and asking the burglar if he wanted to play forever. Walker was slowly dragging one foot behind the other, getting closer and closer. The guy was hyperventilating, begging us to let him out. When he finally got the door open, he sprinted into the storm without looking back. But the best part? He left behind a duffel bag full of our neighbor's stuff that he'd stolen from 3 other houses that night. When the police showed up the next morning, they found the burglar at the emergency room getting treated for a panic attack. He confessed to everything immediately and kept asking the officers if ghosts and vampires were real. The detective told us later that in his 20 years on the force, he'd never seen a criminal so eager to go to jail just to get away from his victims.